forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. So let's start with the questions today.
Of course. So the first we have a profile, potential EB1A profile evaluation. He said, "I'm currently evaluating my profile for EB1A and would really appreciate guidance from those who have gone through the process or have expertise in this area. I hold a PhD in electrical engineering and currently work as a senior scientist in renewable energy photovoltaics field. I also completed my master's from a top institute in Korea. Here's a snapshot of my profile. Uh, he has peer review, 450 plus citations, one US patent, experience mentoring students and working in the R&D industry, and he's exploring or he wants to strengthen his case around independent expert recommendation letters,
Okay.
evidence of original contributions of major significance, reviewing or judging activities and professional recognition. He also said, if anyone has insights on how competitive this profile is for EB1A, key gaps I should address, strategies that help strengthen your own petition. I would really appreciate any guidance.
Okay, wonderful. Now, you see, I like the profile very much. Actually, it's about electrical engineering, somebody doing something in a great field. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But what is missing in this is while the metrics are being given, which is very important, but I think what is missing is the expertise itself, actually. You don't get EB1A because you are having a PhD in electrical engineering. That what have you created? Now, recently, I just read yesterday that there is a news item wherein a person cracked the code of Apple, and Apple AirPods are used only for Apple phones mostly. Actually, they don't serve well for Android phones. Now, this guy cracked the code and created his own product, something on similar lines, which was there and it became $1 million business actually for him. Just a 16, 17-year-old guy. Now, he didn't need a electrical engineering or something like this for this particular purpose. Now, you don't, or for that matter, electronic engineering or telecommunication engineering or a computer science degree. He just did it because there was something, in the field that he could contribute. Now, if you do something like this, that is something an original contribution. I am not very sure that what is, we are talking about otherwise here. Okay, so I mean, I would need more degree, but prima facie it looks good to me. But to give any evaluation based on, then we will see actually. Okay, so let's do that. So let's wait for that actually. Okay.
Absolutely. So our next question is going to be from another anonymous user. They asked, I've been working in cybersecurity for several years, and a lot of my work has been meaningful, but not something I can easily share publicly. So here's some of my experience looks like. They've worked on projects with strong internal impact. They've been involved in handling critical technical issues. Most of their work is confidential, but they also have no public case studies or articles. And they ask, how can someone in this kind of situation demonstrate impact for EB1A? I'm struggling to understand how to present work that isn't publicly visible.
I have always said that you don't need to be a celebrity for this particular purpose. You need to be celebrated actually. Your work needs to get celebrated. I have always been saying this consistently, time after time. So don't bother about it. Let's say I always say that, let's say you are doing a Coke, you are working with Coke and you are the one who designed the Coke formula. Now, in this particular case, what you need to do is you need to visualize that and give a kind of an articulation that you are the one who designed the Coke formula and how the business is growing because of your design. You don't need to actually give and display the entire Coke formula to the world, actually. You see, for that matter, let us say many Nobel laureates are also not visible unless and until their work gets recognized through Nobel Prize. But it does not mean their work. Any Nobel laureate or a potential Nobel laureate, if you were to apply for EB1A, they are not visible in Forbes and other things actually here. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. I think there is a era of right documentation. There is a right structure for recommendation letters that would help you for this. So if you need some more questions or something, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. And if somebody wants to come here and also kind of join program or come on this session, we'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, so let's move to the next question.
Sure thing. So the next question, another aspirant asks, I've seen many programs where people start off motivated but lose momentum halfway through. How does the next league program ensures that professionals actually follow through and don't just consume content without results? I'm trying to better understand how accountability works in practice.
I mean, let's also understand that no program in the world can motivate you if you are not yourself inspired. I mean, it's like saying that, oh, you need to you go to a driving school, you need to drive. If you are not motivated to do anything, then no institution. Remember, there are two divisions in the program in the entire company. One is a law firm, which comes at a second part, and we are also a coaching and education company. So there are two different businesses altogether which exist actually here. So in this particular case, accountability, well, there is a weekly kind of, we want to do a check-in with you. You need to come back to us. We won't be chasing you. At the age of somebody who is 30, 35, we are targeting people who are, are already on H1B, are working in the USA, okay, are drawing around 150K. You have 5 years of experience. Do you expect us to chase you actually? Well, we try to motivate you. We try to kind of push you towards your goal. There is a certain emotional resilience. A test was conducted by some of the students and and there is a research paper also available on that how Nextly kind of maintains a certain degree of momentum for people. But remember, we are not here to guarantee your success. That's your ownership of responsibility. Our guarantee of ownership is to an extent of we offering you the best possible path. You want to move from point A to point B, neither you know the way, neither you know the path, and neither you know the way, and neither you know how to drive. So we will teach you, we'll give you a vehicle, put you on a driving seat and serve as your GPS. GPS role is to give you a right path. Like any teacher, like any education institute, we do that actually. But we are not here to, kind of push you towards something that you are not ready for. If you're not ready, wait and see successes. I like this question to an extent that it sets off our expectations very, very clearly. If you are expecting that somebody will kick you out of your bed and do something like this, it is not going to work for you. I'm sorry. Then don't join. Okay? But if you are willing to, you are struck up, you are willing to do something. But this question looks very amateurish to me, actually, to be very honest. This comes from possibly a student who is a young student and maybe he's expecting an experience, but generally people in the program are pretty matured in a program and we never had this kind of an issue. Okay? People have continued their path in one way or the other. Even after completion of the program, if they're not ready, they complete it actually in their own way. Okay, let's move to the next question.
Yeah, absolutely. So our next question, they ask, from your own experience, what type of evidence do applicants tend to overvalue, but the USCIS doesn't give much weight to? I want to make sure I'm focusing on the right things while building my profile.
You see, profile building is totally different from evidence gathering, but still I will tell you rule of thumb actually generally. So the first is that any evidence should be authentic. Second is you're talking about credible. And third is it should be probative. These three are the parameters which exist for any EB1A achievers for this particular purpose. Now, people tend to overvalue something, letter from anybody. You get a letter as if just to put a case in point for naturalization, you need a letter from your neighbors or something. It won't help you actually. Extraordinary ability, you need to establish a locus very clearly. Number two, the content. I always tell people that any evidence or anything has three layers. For that matter, it is not only letters. The first is that it should be based on facts. Second is it should be based on scientific merits and logic. And third is it should be foundation should be on the basis of law actually here. So when you intermingle all these three dimensions in evidence, then it becomes probative evidence. If you are just kind of getting a letter without a structure, without a framework, how do you describe originality? I have seen, now I think this question is very important because I have seen companies which are in Fortune 5 companies. In fact, their case has been not considered distinguished. Imagine, like for example, NVIDIA not being considered as a distinguished organization, not because it is not distinguished, it is because you have not presented the evidence which should be there actually. So these are the things which are very critical for this thing actually. Okay, so let's move to the next.
Absolutely. So the next question is, a lot of my work feels like regular professional work, but I know EB1A requires demonstrating national or international recognition. How do you convert everyday work into something that can be presented as strong evidence, EB1A evidence? Any tips or insights would really help.
This is a beautiful question because I mean, I need to know more details about your work. I mean, this is not a generic, I mean, okay. I always tell people that I will tell you only from a program perspective. We are having normally people with at least drawing 150K salary with at least 5 years of experience. So normally people with that experience cumulatively so far, if you take a present value of money, they would be earning roughly around $5 to $6 million so far. I mean, if you add up all their total income in the present value, I'm not going into the calculation to demonstrate that. We know that somebody who gets an X amount will definitely be, kind of expecting a 25X of return actually there. So minimum value that what we have seen people have commanded in terms of their ROI has been over $10 million. Now, can we look at 10 million from the lens of the criteria? That's the way it is to be done. Some people we have seen have $100 million of impact that they have created. So we are talking about the impact. National or international is not really relevant. Let's understand. And top of the field doesn't mean that you should have been nationally recognized or you should have got some international awards. I would rather prefer to answer this question on a case-to-case basis rather than making a generalized formula out of it. But yes, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you. That's what I have to say right now. And reach out to Mario, reach out to Syria, or reach out to me. We'll be happy to help you. But this is a very good question. And I really appreciate the insight that we are getting today on this particular matter. Okay? So let's move to the next and last question, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So our next question is going to be from an adjudicator's perspective, what does a compelling EB1A narrative actually look like? What makes one's profile stand out?
Well, we have seen people who are 26-year-olds have getting EB1A. We have seen people who are 50-year-old getting. There is no standard one formula that will come. Anything that shows a genuine growth and possible. You get EB1A only because of three things. I always say that actually. Number one is that you are an expert who has risen to the top of your field. That's very kind of incisive, very sharp, and that is non-negotiable. Number two, you are your field and your presence and your work is going to benefit to the USA. Okay, that's number two. And number three is you will continue in the field of expertise. This is the only profile that you have to do, and you have to use your every initiative focusing towards that. Let's be clear about it. If you are able to demonstrate that, I think you have done through it. Otherwise, you are simply wasting your time. Okay, so that's the way it would be. So thank you very much, guys, and wish you all the best. And if you need to reach out to us, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Reach out to Mario, Syria, or I, and we'll be there to help you out. And have a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.